I don't forget. All right. Good morning. You guys are all very on time. I was like, God, let's get here. Try to be on time.
I'm also like that actually.
Yeah, this is the earliest possible I can do because I drop off my daughter at school. Have to rush back. Okay. Why don't we start with a mindfulness? Mindful noticing. Okay. As I bring this up, a mindfulness exercise. I invite you to notice, is there any habitual way you do mindfulness? Or is there anything that's your body or your system just naturally start when you hear the mindfulness? Some people might close their eyes, some may start to notice their breath or find a comfortable position. If you notice some of these usual routines associated with this word or exercise, I'd like to invite you to notice where you learned that. Where did this habit or routine or pattern started? As I'm saying that, I'm having a glimpse of some past, maybe early experiences with meditation, mindfulness, memories from the DBT days, mindfulness skill. As you are noticing that, or whatever you're noticing, I'd like to also invite you to be curious if there's any habitual way you show up in this kind of meetings. In a professional setting or just a virtual meeting. Anything feels it's familiar, repeated. Now, maybe there is judgment immediately comes with it. And is it okay to also let that be part of your awareness? If you are inclined to go deeper with that curiosity, I do that, or this feels familiar. Where did I learn that? How did that become a pattern? Where could be the source of that? A particular memory is popping up in my head. Whatever you are noticing, I invite you to just hold space. Allowing everything to be part of your awareness. And welcome that pattern and the source of the pattern to be here. Feel free to take a few moments. If you continue to welcome or be curious, whenever you are ready, I invite you to reorient to our virtual space, to today's meeting. Notice if there is a shift as you open your eyes to reorient. How was that? Anyone wants to share their experience?
It is good. Thank you, Liz. And when you say mindfulness, my attention was instantly like diffused. And when you say like any patterns, I just realized like every meeting, I tend to like uh, getting pretty rush like in the morning. Um, yeah.
I like when Elise you said that to notice what um, patterns or habitual ways of us doing mindfulness, because that reminds me of what that what that word of mindfulness means to me and what I see that how my clients were taking that word and expecting, including myself, expecting a certain form that mindfulness should be. Um, and then it helped me to remind, like to review once again what that actually means to be mindful. And to be able to get more in tune with my body. That's my habitual way of like focusing on my breath, focusing on my back, uh, and just once again understanding what that means for me to need to do that, for me to be present.
Beautiful. Thank you. I'll also check in. I mentioned a particular memory was popping up in my head as I was inviting you to notice the pattern. The story was that before COVID, my agency, I happened to be in the same city where Deb is. My agency actually had a contract to have a quarterly consultation meeting with her, and we actually went to her home. That was really nice. I went a few times until COVID hit. And this prompt or this curiosity, she invited us to notice, showing up in a meeting or a gathering. What is a usual way you show up? I noticed, for me, almost like in a performance mode, how can I present myself or what's expected? Like a eagerness, and realize, wow, that's a lot of like forward leaning and keyed up, and instead of relaxed and just being me and being in the moment, being open. It's a lot of anticipation. That was a big wow moment. And that's kind of the beginning of me starting to appreciate one of our key principles of the SAFE model, present moment mindfulness, is really whatever this moment, can we just be and observe. And if we not even focusing on anything, and just know, just be and observe whatever is here, wherever my attention goes first, whatever shows up, if that feels familiar, and what kind of curiosity I have. There's no one way of doing it, yet there is a particular way of non-directory. You might notice my words, that's also part of the nonviolent principle. I like to invite you instead of do this, do that. And this kind of language carries, you can always go different direction. That's all welcome too, because nobody's to the nervous system will be uniformly doing one thing. All right. How was the practice this month? Or before we switch it, what do you notice hearing my sharing? What's showing up for you in this moment?
Is that when you say about the way of needing to perform and leaning forward when show up in meetings, that happen to me all the time. It's almost like, because I have a background of drama therapy, so it always reminds me of I'm playing a different role when I'm in a meeting. It's just not I don't see that as a bad thing, but it's my way of approaching different scenarios. So that reminds me of similar ways how I show up in social meetings.
Great awareness. Now you can observe that unconscious pattern. That becomes part of your awareness. Now I'm noticing an urge to say a few words to both of you. I would like you to just notice how, your system responds or reacts to these words, to hearing these words. The real you is the best asset in this work. Whatever hides, covers the real you is either a memory or a lie. I'll say them again. The real self is the best asset we have for this work. Whatever covers up the real self is either a piece of memory or a lie. Take a moment, notice thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensations, different parts. What do you notice?
Well, I noticed like when you say the real you, and I started to ask internally. There was a voice like, um, who is the real you? And apart from memory um, and the past, and I was started to thinking it could be the observer character that behind everything that could be consciousness. And then I was thinking of, well, consciousness gonna play a big part in the MDR. So I was started to think about these questions.
It sounds like you're doing what you're good at. You're good at thinking.
Mhm.
Yeah, which is a marvelous ability our human beings can do. Like abstract, intellectual, sophisticated. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
For me, when you were sharing this phrase, my first instinct is, oh, I'm going to write this down. I need this. Because my memory don't usually work for me. So when I hear a good phrase, I tend to want to write them down. Because I think that they would be very useful, very helpful for my own reflection and also with my work. But there's also another part of me saying that let's take a pause and just feel how you feel with that phrase. And but also when I'm hearing this phrase, it also reminds me of some of my clients where they want things to be want the processing in a particular way that that they feel that this should make sense to them. But when things doesn't make sense, they try to analyze it and don't really feel that that's the real process. And this how hard it is to support them in realizing that's actually the process itself. And sometimes for myself too, because I tend to analyze a lot. I'm also analyzing myself now. So
Our answers always show up. Beautiful. Yeah. I think I'm hearing there's a layer of your answer. Just you are such a perpetual learner, very eager. Whatever I hear, whatever I see, oh, how can I pick that up, write that down, learn from that, right? Which is beautiful strengths again. Must have helped you a lot. I can relate to that. I used to take a ton of notes for everything. Yeah. And the nature of our answer, when I'm in that answer, what's the underlying belief for me is I don't know anything. I need to know more. Tell me more. You know better. They whatever teacher, whatever are better than me. I need to be like them. I need to copy everything they say. That's an anxiety. That's a lie right there underneath that I'm not good enough. And that he keeps the real me from shining, from just be okay and be good with what I do know, and every moment be truly open to experiencing and knowing, learning fully in moment by moment, right? The flip side, keep good at taking notes, good at learning, good at being resourceful. What's helpful, what can be make me better. Then what's difficult is for me to be just present and open and feel I am enough. Notices, thoughts, feelings.
Um, Amazing when you're sharing the flip side. I'm emotional. It feels like I have a urge wanting to cry. Like that's a inside part of me that feel it really resonates. That I don't feel good enough. I don't feel that I'm equipped enough to do this work.
Thank you for being vulnerable. I'm hearing and seeing more of the real you now. Notice my eyes are welling up. My tears don't discriminate. They show up wherever they show up.
I think this is a very touching moment. I would like to share that I also like got touched with the "I am not good enough" that sentence. Um, it really starts to for me to think and analyze. But again, like the answers showing up, I start to think, and then I think about the Maslow um, pyramid, that why we feel like I feel like everybody at some point will feel I'm not good enough. And maybe the reason would be self-achievement is our ultimate goal. So no matter what we are, we always feel like there's like not good enough.
Good job catching your answer, right? The 5 C's. First is you get to catch it. Oh, I wonder if this could be an answer. Yeah.
And I think like if it's happening to me as well, and then I just realized it's all human beings. So,
Hey,
mhm.
that's beautiful. You are able to, instead of judging yourself,
Mhm.
and make that another area that I'm not good enough, I'm judging myself. Instead, you can extend this loving kindness, this compassion. Oh, I'm just human. Yeah. I do feel differently about the origin of this kind of negative belief. It's just I believe it's just another result of our experiences, our environment. Like life is hard. Even the best parents, best upbringing couldn't have met our needs unconditionally, sensitively, timely, responsively every time. And when there is that discrepancy, being a little us, little baby, little toddler, little elementary school kid, instead of saying, you guys are expecting too much, this too hard, you didn't give me enough support, what do? I internalize that I'm not good enough. I should have tried harder. Right. All right. Well, let me be honest, be truthful, that I didn't really plan this out, the mindfulness, where we could go. I couldn't have planned this. Yeah, there was a little inkling. Reviewing your videos, your submission, what you did, I was feeling like there was something blocking. I wasn't really seeing you. Okay, I guess I was feeling something. I wasn't quite sure. Then I was able to pull back and sit with that feeling, and I was noticing, I wonder if that's what you guys are good, both of you. And I'm good at that too. Giving whatever is expected from you. This is exercise. This is, there is expectations. We are supposed to record. We're supposed to submit on time or even early. We're supposed to do this. Follow each steps. And actually, I appreciate there was a little glitch or some point, SiYeung, when you were therapist with Lila. What? What happened? Oh, we'll reconnect later. I was like, I want to see more of that. What's really happening? So whatever our past has trained us to be good at, that was necessary, and it becomes the armors or the tools, and we constantly use without knowing we're using, and the true self is being harbored and protected in there. As we were starting the mindfulness, I was noticing, I would like to know and see and hear more of the real you.
For me, when we're doing the recording, it's a little bit hard to see it as the first time as I'm meeting the client. And when Lila and I were training in the basic training, we are also pairing up. We are also in our small group. So we've went through the answers for 4 times already. So it sounds like we're doing that again. We do find something new, but also there's many parts of it sounds very familiar, just like we're going through that once more. So that feels like we are putting on stage a demo that we need to do again. So that's what I feel when I was doing the exercise, the recording. So maybe that translates to the performance part, or there's a mask in there that you're feeling.
Thank you. That mind intellectual part. That's what it is. So appreciate you sharing that. Okay, great. Yeah. That explains. We all love explanations. And I did hear kind of a question. Is this really what we do with a client on the first session? Does that sound like a question? Or do you want to hear my experience?
That would
Yes
be
and no.
great.
Depends on the clients. I do have quite some clients, maybe half of my clients. First, maybe we have an intake, or maybe we have a pre-consultation before we find we fit and we start scheduling. But when we actually have our first session, I would say maybe half of my clients, or some, I don't really count, but a lot of times I get to know, just greet each other, and you're here, and I would like to know you more. And we have a tool. And we start right there with the answer. You may not start with the container. The container in your training was put in the very beginning because everybody coming in the training may have lots of anxiety, lots of what you haven't finished from work the day before, or whatever going on. And it's a training setting. We anticipate that. So a container helps to kind of settle the mind, settle the system down a little bit to be more ready for that kind of a curious inquiry. Makes sense? And you can skip that, or you can invite a client to do that if there is a lot of you notice, and you name it. You ask the client to name it. I know a lot of stuff is going on. That's why you are here. And this is what we do. If we just fight fire every time, we will never get to the real healing, right? So would it be okay for us to get this, whatever is going on, or what would you like to have contained before we can actually start doing the deeper work? Use your own language, and you really see these tools are there, available for you. They don't replace your clinical judgment, all the trainings you've had in the past. You understand what these tools are intended for.
Thank you for laying that, because that's really one of my questions when it starts with clients. Especially sometimes I don't start with using EMDR. When clients come in, they don't request that they want to do this. It might appear later in our therapeutic journey that we encounter some trauma events, that they have a block. Then I tend to introduce, I have this training, have this tool, do you want to try that? So that comes in the middle part of our therapy process. So it's very helpful to know if a client comes in really want to do EMDR, what would be the first session with these clients. And I have a follow-up question regarding.
Yeah, can I respond
Yeah.
pretty quick? You don't have to announce you are doing EMDR with them until you are actually identifying targets and doing phase 3 to 7 work. I started using the answer with every client, maybe not the very first session, just because it shows me so much information, gives me. I'll leave it up to you, yeah, once you really get the answer. I just couldn't help but using it with everyone.
That is true.
Even without the answer questionnaire, I can see people's answers around me. There's no way of going back, not unseeing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the
Yeah, I do feel that I resonate with the feeling that the answer is a very powerful tool. And that's true that after I remember Lila mentioned that once when we were talking to, saying that the answer is really like what we always been doing, but in a more concise and simpler form, that to the point. So after training, I do it with all of my clients without really saying that we are going to be in any AMDR process. But it's also good that you point out we don't need to identify we are doing EMDR until we're like going through the assessment process or the reprocessing process. Um, yeah. The following questions that I had was because usually I start the first or second session with clients understanding their background. So asking questions about their relationship with family, the issues that they want to explore, who they are, asking them to describe themselves a little bit. So are these also part of that history taking process that we do before we go into?
great question. You understand what's can I what's AIP? What can you use your own language really summarize AIP? Adaptive information processing model or theory.
Well,
It's
I'll
okay.
give my
It's not a
answer
quiz.
first. uh,
That's what's guiding EMDR. All our past experience with sufficient resources and safety and time would work towards resolution, but trauma memories didn't have the sufficient safety support resources, so trauma memories are stuck in the raw form without a time tag and fragmented. And those unprocessed memories are affecting our pathology, behaviors, thoughts, big reactions, unexplained physical symptoms, all that can be unprocessed trauma memories. And the answer, so sorry, I'm going a little far, but the answer is actually informed by the AIP. Everything we do is connected to our past. The past is always going to show up in the present. Unprocessed past. Right? We are asking about the answer, what's showing up now. Oh, how do you handle extreme pressure? Is it easy to ask for help or accept help? We're asking about something here, but we're listening. We are curious. It's very difficult to say no, or I take it personal when I hear criticism. Oh, I wonder how that could be related to the past. The answer is adaptation. Some past is being activated, like not necessarily we say trigger, but it is trigger. We are, say, I show up to a meeting with full of anticipation and I need to be ready. I want to give whatever expected from me. I became good at that. I had to. It's because of all the past experiences I had. I had no other choice. Just showing up and be me was not an option. Either I screwed up and was beat down or blamed, and I really learned I have to have and be in that hyper state to perform, to show, whatever. That layer of answer came from vulnerable past. So again, back to the question you just asked. With the safe approach, we evaluate history in the context of the answer. The answer we see as what are the resources, what are the things people are currently doing? Manage distress, manage relationship conflict, dysregulation, access or not access resources. And it's related to their history. We don't want to, we can still have a history taking, and for a lot of trauma clients, without assessing their resources or their answer, without understanding their answer, maybe talking, cognitive, verbal processing, and they never process the real extent of the trauma. They just get stuck in this loop. Maybe that's their answer, and they come in again and again, a session, 10 sessions after, we're still talking and not getting to the full healing outcome they desire. Now we can have a language or have a tool to, hey, let's assess your answer or get some clarity on what you are good at and what might be difficult. Maybe it sounds like you're really good at sharing the narratives, sharing the stories, talking about. And even talking can maybe, it must be helpful in the past. And what's difficult is to feel the full effect or deep emotions. Just feel them without words. That's kind of a long answer. So phase one, short answer, phase one and phase two we do together.
I just want to clarify to make sure that I
Yeah.
understand.
Please.
So the answer is more like a top-down approach in history taking. So this usually what we do is we start from the bottom of talking a lot about different relationships, understanding their background, and then eventually we want to get to what the past, what are these relationships or the backgrounds have shaped them into doing things in a certain patterns. So it's kind of going up there. But then when we're like exploring answers, we're kind of here in the patterns already without exploring the history in details.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the
in
step,
that way, I would agree. It's here. We are pulling out the gist of the
yeah,
patterns without triggering too much of the pain. If we are starting to talk about or getting into interacting with them, we can be already tangled in that. Yeah. In that, I don't know, mess. However, it's not necessarily top down like the norm, the usual way of we say top down, intellectualized. It's very much experiential. A lot of our answer, or all answers, comes like it's a system level, I just cringe when I think I need to say no to people. I, it's incorporating the whole system.
Mm.
Any more questions?
Then do we, after exploring the patterns or resources, I think that's my pattern too in my doing my work, is that understanding the details of what's going on sounds important to me. So not going through that, it seems we are missing something in the process. So I don't know, maybe I just want to hear that even though you don't do that, that's okay. You can help the client. Yeah. So
I'm wondering if through your experience, having a full understanding of the history or story, it's what helps you to really connect with the client or help you to intellectually make sense of the patterns.
I think because usually how I do in my modality, we want to look for specifics. So what is the scenarios that happen that lead to those patterns? And then for us to be able to find certain scenarios, certain memories, so to speak, then we do need to go to those details to understand what had happened. Let's explore that dramatically so that we're not only talking about general patterns, but we are focusing on what's going on.
So we're kind of doing it in reverse, because we anticipate some clients may not remember that the real roots. Some client may get stuck on certain memories, but it could be other memory fueling the resource, the disturbance. And as we are talking about or getting into the nitty gritty of some memories and interpersonal, that we can get lost with them. Our answers can be triggered. Since you have the drama play background, that just gave me a metaphor or a comparison. Think about the writers for these dramas, like the series. Do they have the season 4 already stories laid out, every character's origin story, or do they have just a kind of a model of this character? I'm watching Ted Lasso right now. I know they are making season 4, but what revealed in season 2 or season 3 some of the detailed history of his childhood, we did not know, or they didn't even know when they are making season 1, right? But what the writers or the director they had was this character. He's behaving certain way. He always makes jokes, humor, and so that is consistent. And then they can feel. So this work, two reasons I can think. One, I know from my own experience, talking about a memory does not really fully process a memory. EMDR, going through the reprocessing with bilateral stimulation with the support of a clinician, it's much deeper cleansing of all channels related to a memory. So there's no really benefit of talking in detail about a memory. I tell my client, I would like to hear your story too, and I know there is a more effective way of you activating this pain, and that'll be the last time you have to feel it that way. We'll get to last time, access it and clean it up. Then you don't have to feel it this way. So because we have a more effective way, when we get there, we will open it all up. And right now, we don't have to know all of the details. I just need to know a title. And we assume whatever is showing up as an answer. There are good reasons they are doing what they are doing. It has to be helpful in the past, or maybe even helpful in the present. The compassionate assumption. For Lila, I wonder if you're okay with exploring thinking. Can you see how, or whatever way, being a really good thinker has been helpful for you?
I'm not sure I understand the question. You mean in therapy or personal life?
Just overall, that's you're good at thinking.
Well, in a way, it does. I would say because I would like to think in a more philosophy way. So uh, it will uh, it will give me a bigger picture. And sometimes, like when I analyze or put a lot of time thinking of other people's patterns, it also summarizes and help myself to understand this world better and to understand myself better.
Yeah. You are a deep thinker. You're good at seeking the truth, or seeking what's the ultimate patterns.
Yeah, like why we exist. What's the
I
point of life? So
It sounds like being able to get there and get some answers offers quite some real comfort or real relief from just pain, messiness in life. And I use this gesture, you're bouncing in. We're overdeveloped in certain things, and they must have helped us, right? And then on the flip side, what's difficult for you with this same? We have to adapt to become really good at, and then every time we come to that as an answer. Life gets too stressful, too messy, too painful, too whatever. Right? That's our go-to. Then what's difficult? I wonder if it's difficult to really sit with the discomfort, conflict, messiness, distress.
Um, I would say if you, it's easy to fell in that pit for every people who think about life or difficulties too much, and they will reach to a conclusion that this world is fake and things are not real. And in for that, it's sometimes will get me out of the reality into a point of dissociation. And um, well, when I'm alone, like, and sometimes with the clients, when they are too much involved with their pain, and sometimes the answer will jump out, like, um, this shouldn't be their pursuing of life, or this shouldn't be the meaning of life. And I will sometimes start to judging, or when I cannot pull them out of the trouble, and I will start to think, um, like, uh, this is not how souls work, and this is how, again, not how life in general should be. So I would say that would be a, and also I would start to think, uh, this is all fake, and why you're so involved in, like, can't you see, and that kind of um, uh, I would say it's in
It's
impediment.
okay. You can, if you want to switch back to Chinese, whatever.
Yeah, it's also very hard to find a word in Chinese, so that's why I'm stuck. Um, so I would say like, it's very rare, but it happened like one or two times when I see um like one or two clients who with the personality, like, disorders. That can be a downside, or this skill that are overdeveloped.
I'm hearing, I guess, that certain emotions or certain other people, some intense and extreme emotions, makes you feel the emotions are not serving the person. And so I stop feeling it, or some way to pull out of it is the wise way.
Mm.
Does that describe or
Um,
summarize what I hear?
yes, in a way.
I wonder, what would it be difficult for you to just accept whatever emotions here? It's valid. Maybe not valid necessary to this event, but maybe linked to deeper roots. Emotions are part of, a essential part of human experience. There is deep truth in that.
I would say I can, but in the meantime, I would think they paid me, so I want to do something.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if it's always, so that's why this model, we look into our own answers so much. And when we, as a healer, or we limit how far our clients can go. All clients, if they could go through every piece of their life experiences fully, then they can fully learn and integrate their past and truly move on. Yet we can get into, oh, that's too much, or that's not helpful anymore. And let's help you to feel better. And let's redirect the direction. But maybe that's what that system needs to go, however low, however deep, for them to come out. I see some of these least liked or appreciated emotions. Hopelessness. When a client is afraid of feeling hopelessness, what do you mean? I can't do anything. I'm feeling hopeless. I just give up and I just need to die right here. Everything ends. And would it be okay? You're safe with me right here? Would it be okay to hold space for that emotion for just a few moments as you follow the eye movement? And then could that just, our lens, always the AIP lens, could that, what this client is feeling right now, could that be just historic material? They were stuck in that whole abyss of hopelessness for a while in the past. And when that is triggered or activated, exactly, they need to process through that. And when they go through that and they go, I'm feeling better now. Anyway, that was 10 years ago or decades ago. My life did make change. I'm here. Finding hope through hopeless.
Well, I would say that some clients I wouldn't say confuse me, but mainly with the relationship. For example, they just can't, they just can't get off the idea that this man is their soulmate. When they see this person in a paranormal, supernatural way, for example, when they pray, they see this man in a premonition or in a vision, or when they are like God showed them a picture. And since then, they can't, they are all in attached with this person. But you can't, all the psychological skills or all the therapeutic tools just lost its way because they don't see it in a normal way and they got super attached. And you can't, as I said, when the question like you ask, like, you think too much. Yeah. Or when I dive myself in too much of the philosophic questions. And then when a client come in like this, um, I myself would wonder, like, maybe it is destiny. Maybe that is her soulmate. Then why would I doing this therapy or therapeutic conversations for? And then I will doubt myself. And that would say, so like I myself, I don't know about this world, right? I don't know other people's destiny than what I'm doing, and also charging them. So this really confuses me, and I've been encountered one or two of them. So
Yeah.
for example, they pray for God, and then there's like a letter has this guy's name on it, so you can't explain that in a human way. And then they are painful. and then they can't, it's toxic relationship, but they can't break it off because they think it's a gift from God. So
Oh,
when
yeah.
counter this, when this kind of a case coming up repeatedly, and it's just very hard to handle.
Or when they are believing something, their vision, everything is narrow. They're looking for confirmation.
Mm.
And everything you say counters their belief is being filtered out. And maybe being registered as a threat. They stop trusting you. They're pulling away. They're not giving you full information. Therefore, how we work, could that be an answer? Blindly believing in something. That can be helpful. So many life, if that's the only truth, if that's the only thing I need to stick to, and all the life problems supposed to be better or solved, wouldn't that be wonderful? That gives me one clear solution. I just need to tolerate all the suffering, and focus on devoting myself in just one direction. That's so much easier than answering 100 emails or making 5 different appointments and working on their physical health, mental health, education, career. Can you see that as really helpful? That obsession can be their answer. And how we approach other people, or even our own answers, we appreciate. We appreciate. And if we are not in a place to genuinely, sincerely appreciate, they can tell. Oh, we just say, oh, we so appreciate you, but it's not from here. They can detect that's fake. And we appreciate until they say, but that's not actually solving anything. All the other problems are still here, and these pains getting intolerable. I wonder why it's supposed to solve everything, but they are giving you the but. If the more we want to pull them to see something else, they pull away from us. The more we want to push them or nudge them in one direction, the more they resist. Okay, we spend the first hour really deepening the answer and some of the key principles. How about we take a 5-minute break and then come back? Then we switch to, if you have questions about the video, we can do the video. If you feel like the video is okay, you can bring up their client case. So 5 minutes. I encourage you to mindfully notice during the break. Whatever you do, can you just mindfully observe? Come back at 15 or 16 now that I talked more. I'm so proud of myself. Remembered recording. Welcome back. with the first practice recording, who would like to go first? Or you want any feedback at some, like, just if you drag to where you feel like you did pretty well, or in any place you have question or need feedback, we can do that. Or you feel like it's pretty good, because the first practice is really just the answer and resource.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Well, first, well, I'm not sure like we're doing it the right way. I don't know if Sia feels the same. Are we supposed to only do the answer part, or we should finish the phase one? Or
You did what I asked, finish the answer, but okay, this is the one part I did want to ask. Now that we've explored more of layers of your answer, what's the prediction? What could be, like, as a therapist? Let's say, Lila, would you be okay with going first, being the therapist? Yeah. Thinking about reflecting on the client's answer as you continue this treatment process. What could be showing up as she gets closer to pain?
SiYeung, well, when I got SiYoung's answers and also character types, I would think when SiYoung is close to pain, it could happen. What could happen is that she would internalize it, and in our therapy, I because she also has this nice, not too much, but a little of
Being the nice one. Mm-hmm.
So I would think, well, there would be two concerns. One is Ziyan would be too nice, um, not showing what she really feels when asked questions, and even like telling me stories. And the second concern is maybe I would say something and accidentally hurt her, and then she will internalize. So that's two concerns I would have, and based on Xiang's answers.
Great. Yeah. I hear first. Again, this is a prediction. It may or may not happen. And if it happens now, we have it's not a secret or not something to be embarrassed or anything. Right? If it shows up, it's just a how or trying to help with something. Yeah.
I would worry like maybe she would want me to feel good.
Right. She will start to take care of you, or
Starting to
wanting to
take
give you a good practice experience.
care.
Yeah. Great prediction. What do you say as the client?
Yeah, I think that's very valid. That's I tend to take care of others' needs. So if there's a high tendency that I would want to take care of Lila, but I also like another part of me know that I don't need to do that. So I'm aware of that.
Now, if Lila, you catch it in the process, oh, I wonder if you are trying to help me in this. Yeah. Or is this your real, what, yeah. Or even it's just a part of her attention is starting to shift on you instead of, oh, would it be okay to go deeper with your own experience? Yeah. Then just a question. We don't need an answer. Then go with that. She might be nodding or she might be maybe. Then go with that. Then in terms of, well, yeah, how about we switch? So yeah, you are the therapist, knowing your client's answers, what might or may not happen when she is close to pain.
And in the character type, we are seeing that Lila is a very independent one, and also she tend to go for perfection, works very hard. So I'm guessing that when Lila gets close to pain, he might intellectualize some of her feelings, and try to push herself to get close to pain, potentially dissociating as well. And also, because during the at least you asked about what is I did mention like what happened, and then later on as we were checking in, Lila also mentioned that she also identified a part of the nice ones. That's probably with one of her characters, not necessarily matching all the description in like the character type form. For example, I don't see that she view herself as a victim, but we do see some patterns of like being nice. So I'm also guessing that as we're being informed by that character type, that identification maybe that's also part of needing to take care of me as well, to care for my needs, and wanting to be polite in going through the process. It's not really revealing what she really feels.
Yeah. Lila, if I can share in your reflection, or you even mentioned noticing your client was tired, and so you wanted to finish it sooner, so your client can go to rest, right? That's the nice one. That's the caregiver showing up. Our answers always show up. Which is what we were socialized to be. I bet it was very helpful. Yeah. Now I'm curious about each of you as we go through this process of 9 months now ahead. There will be times videos don't work, or life gets in the way, or you feel like you didn't do a good job, or whatever Liz is looking for, I'm not giving her, or whatever. What are some predictions that you can think of coming up?
So far, so good. I think the only that least you are taking care both of us, and also very professional. And the only thing I'm concerned is our time frame. And especially when I go back China, and then the time will be
Are
different.
you going back to China sometime?
25th, like next in 2 weeks. So um what I was worrying about, like I noticed that I was starting to get worried about like what if I miss the meeting? I
Yeah.
might disappoint.
How long will you be in China?
I guess I will stay there for at least half a year. So
Oh, wow. So then it's not just a month then what 9 o'clock Eastern time would be 10 p.m.
yeah. Um,
So, well, I guess good that you're making we're talking about this. Would you like to find a different time? SiYeung, is it possible to find a different time? I wonder.
I'm good with the time. Actually, I talked to SiYeung before we selecting this time.
Okay. So
The
10 p.m. is quite late for you.
no, 10 p.m. is okay as long as it's not in the middle of the night.
Okay.
Yeah, but the only thing is the date might shift as well.
Okay. Hmm.
So I was
You're
kind of,
a day ahead of us.
yeah. So like, okay, when I check the email, even if I put it in the calendar, in the sometimes I might forget. Um, so that would be one of the issues that I worry that I might upset you. So uh, to back to your question.
Great job. Great job. I was wondering, you guys are so good at with time with deadlines, with delivering what's expected from you. What's difficult what is if things come up, life come up, if you made a mistake, would it be okay to oops, sorry, and can we change? Can can we roll with it? Not feeling extremely guilty, burden. I don't say this to every group. Plenty of other people, their answers go the other way around. Procrastination or like, yeah, I'm not gonna name a whole lot, but for you guys, would it be okay? Oops, I made a mistake. Oops, something coming up. Can we reschedule? And do you feel comfortable enough?
Well, I
Okay.
wouldn't feel like extremely comfortable.
That's the honest answer. Yeah. And,
But I will try to.
and I would like to invite you to notice what's connected to that discomfort, right? Am I inconveniencing other people and causing burden? Am I being bad or whatever? Okay. Be curious how everything is connected to our past. And reflect, oh, right now, this situation, this relationship, this setting, do I feel safe and okay enough to do that? Am I in big trouble? I will tell you now, you're not. I may need to do that some point. No one can predict the whole 9 months. Okay, so we'll keep the same time for now. If at some point it's too hard or it's not working well, or yeah, would you be comfortable enough to raise the question? Okay. So, with that predictions out of the way, yeah, if you want to review the video, we don't really have a whole lot of time for the video review. So decision time. Do you want to review the question or the video? Do you have a specific spot or anything from this practice need some clarification?
I have a question about each recorded session. Is there like a particular, because I'm also looking at having in mind the how to demonstrate our competency. So is there like an expectation of each recorded session would be one part of the competency that we need to demonstrate specifically, or it's just flow like our usual sessions? Because I'm aware that we do want to do it as usual session, but also it's not only a usual session. So there's duality in that too. So.
Yeah. You're smiling big. Thank you for being graded. What predictions can you make? It's almost like a scorecard, report card. What kind of, if there's any stress, pressure, or expectations, or what other stuff is connected to seeing a score number. I'd like to just invite you to really be curious about whatever is showing up with this process and how that could be the past showing up. And you kind of already have the answer. You flow. You treat it as a real client, a real session, whether you have 50 minutes, 55 minutes, or you can stretch to 60, or a little, if really necessary, but time, think of it as a real client. And each month, each meeting, I would only mark up what I can see from the month's demo and from our meeting. And there will be areas left blank. There will be areas I'm marking 1 or 2 because that's only what I kind of noticed. And that's okay. But overall, it's gonna be in the direction of as you demo more and more faces, and especially the core or the processing phases, so that can be a lot of nuances, and you interacting in the meeting and out in your practice with each other, how some of these key principles you are embodying. And to me, that does not, like, bottom line, that rating is really just information. Does not affect anything if with your final, as long as you complete the 10 meetings. I will write a letter for Andrea purpose. Yet, when you all get to 4 or 5, you may or you may not. And even if the areas some you get 5, you continue to practice and you realize, oh, I don't think Liz should have given me 5. I'm just getting to understand it deeper now. That's what I felt. But the framework, I see that as a framework you can check back throughout your practice. Oh, do I really understand the model and these key principles? Am I seeing it in my actual interaction with my clients more clearly? That's all.
Thank you.
Questions, thoughts? But I will write that in on the second page, my observation and what I would like to see specifically for the next practice. So some people, they just see the first page, don't even scroll down and see, oh, there's a second page. I do hope you read that. Any more questions about this month's practice? No? Yeah. Good. I do have a few things to, in the housekeeping. On the video, I would like you to ping both. With a client, you would not do that, but I need to see for both of you so I can really see the therapist and the client at the same time. Okay. For the transcript, Lila, SiYeung's transcript showed up with the timestamp. Maybe you can talk to each other. It will be very helpful for me to see the timestamp. So if I'm reviewing some point, I know where to stop at on the video. And if you could review the transcript and mark it client, therapist, or SiYeung, Lila, Addison, that'll be helpful too. Some sentences are jumbled together, two people's. So that there's that. It's not critical. I could still kind of tell, but it'll be helpful.
Yes, I just want to say like, me and SiYeung, we tried. SiYeung was the one who initiated the Zoom meeting. So I think SiYeung's transcript was downloaded directly from Zoom. Therefore, there are timestamps.
Okay.
But I didn't download, and I wrote email to Zoom, and in the end, it cannot be resolved. So SiYeung sent me the video, and then I used Jianying. I don't know if you know that software. So I used Jianying, which will have the script, and then I have to manually adjust like every word. So it's almost
That's a lot of, yeah. What I did with all my videos is YouTube would generate transcript for you too. So after you upload the video, it might take hours. It may take to come back the next day, but YouTube can auto-generate subtitles or transcript. However, with us, English being our second language, they're not like that great. We need to clean it up, and that takes time. So that's one way of getting the transcript through YouTube.
I'm also, because Uh, that's my mistake. I'm so sorry, Lila, because I should have remembered that you don't have the transcript because I can download that for you and send that to you. But I didn't know that you're facing that. So I will send that to you as well so that you don't need to do that in other software. It would be much easier.
That would be
Okay.
great help because I worked on that for at least 1 hour.
Oh, yeah. I wish I know that.
This could be a prediction too. You guys are both hard workers. If there is some technology or some way you're really trying hard, really hard, maybe take a step back. It's not, yeah. Would it be okay to ask around before you try even harder? Is this absolutely necessary? Even without a transcript, it's okay. I'm not encouraging you not doing it, but this you knowing your usual answer is, I have that. Work really hard. Keep working hard. Keep trying more. Is this still being productive or effective? Or could I ask around for support or help, clarification? Good, good. Will you still, Lila, would you still have access to Gmail, Google, or YouTube, all these tools?
Um, I, I think so. I use VPN. As long as the VPN is there. But if it's got ambushed by Chinese
Okay. Yeah,
then in that case I will try to message SiYeung and
yeah. Okay. We'll find a workaround. Well, if that happens.
yeah.
And no, it's not totally on you. We are here willing to figure out something together. So that transcript video, yeah, that's, oh, with character types, we, our recommendation is that we don't label the clients. You can decide on your own. Some clients you feel okay with sharing those labels. Oh, the nice one, or but we use the character types. They are kind of a snapshot or summary of some typical types, but know that we all have different character types in us. What's really informative for me is what the two columns of what's underdeveloped and what's overdeveloped, right? You can pick and choose and see what fits the client the best. And the more clients you work with, the more you build a database in your kind of conceptualizing. And the unique thing, the bad, like, it's the great thing about the answer is that two people can have the same answer, perfectionist, yet their adaptation path could be very different. So we are actually looking for each individual's their way of being and how their past shapes them to be this way. Yeah. We let's say 5 minutes at the end for me to give you the assignments. We have about 9 minutes. I know, SiYeung, you submitted a case. Would you like to talk about the case?
Yep. Um, so, So this is a case that I'm still meeting with. I've done several rounds of the 3 to 8 phrases with this client. And then my main issue or things that I'm concerned about, because in the first round of processing, one target memory is the earliest, is at 2-year-old of the client. And then after that session, next time when the client comes back, we're re-evaluating the client. At the later part of the evaluation, the client mentioned that after the first session, she unconsciously harmed herself. When she's sleeping, she kind of pull out one of her fingernails unconsciously. And then she just saw, when she woke up, she just saw there's all blood in bed. So my question is, do we take a pause in the processing, but reviewing some resources first, before we go on to continue the processing again? So that's my first question. My second question is, this client have a very high tolerance to pain, both physically and emotionally. And then there's oftentimes that she mentioned it's quick towards 0, or like 3 to 4, and she would feel that that's the lowest that she can get, because it's still affecting her currently, those memories. So she feels that it won't be able to get any lower for the SAT score. And after that first session, next session, when we come back, as we review the same target memory, the client mentioned that it no longer bothers her. But it doesn't feel that way for me. Especially it's so unconsciously, there's a lot of things happening that it seems stirred up something in her. So I was just wondering if there's any suggestion on next step.
The first question about the self-harm in sleep. I wonder, what are you noticing you're coming up for you as you heard that or as you described that? As you ask that question, should we
I
continue
feel hurt.
our resource?
I feel hurt too. So I feel that with her. She might not necessarily feel that herself, but I feel that pain. I'm worried. But I also don't want to not go there.
Right. Great awareness. You are good at feeling other people's feelings, right? Empathize. And each person, each individual nervous system is different. And each individual, we have our own healing path. Nobody can, go through our path for us or for them. So as long as so we expect some answers to flare up as we start reprocessing. If that's what they had to use to cope, or it's just part of that adaptation as they were close to pain, sure enough, right? It may flare up. Same as when we assess the readiness doing safety plan before we going into the first reprocessing, as long as there is no imminent like threat, danger to self or others, the dangerous and annoying ones that's showing up, that blocking processing or blocking this authentic, honest feedback, or they're starting to interrupt this process, therapeutic process. They're starting to, oh, I'm not showing, or finding excuses and blah, blah, blah. But as long as these are, yeah, I don't see a big concern. Recognize what's coming up for us, and we can always check in with the client. Ouch, that I feel hurt. What do you notice? Okay, is this, you feel this is tolerable, or whatever the client gives you? And do you feel comfortable continuing with this process? They have their own benefit and pain they can tolerate, right? It's a true collaboration. We can't unilaterally decide, let's go, or let's stop, let's go back to resourcing. This is true collaboration. Invite the client to collaborate. As far as the second one, it's again not our call whether there is more disturbance or zero disturbance. We trust the client. If we have an inkling or suspicion, we can. This is what I would do. I'm curious if this is a real zero, or it could be you are good at enduring pain or brushing off pain. It's just your answer is doing it for you without noticing, and get a feedback. And whatever the client says, I would go with the client. The beauty of this model is that if there's stuff that left not fully processed, it'll show up in the next memory or in later process. Or just keep your eyes open that just because we worked through a memory and got to 2 7s or zeros, that doesn't mean later on that memory doesn't open up new channels. And during evaluation, if it was an incomplete session and now it's client says 0, doesn't bother, but we didn't complete phase 4, 5, 6, I often would it be okay to go with that 0 for a set or 2 and notice? And usually the client, I'm not saying let's go, I'm just, would it be okay? Could we just notice that and be sure? And usually the client is okay. And if the client is not okay, and that's fine too. Trust the process, trust the client's system. Okay. All right. So now, next month's practice, really be real. Using finding root under the answer. So I think what you were trained was trying three or multiple areas of life, right? And converging to looking for a relational longing. Is that what you were trained for? Okay, yeah. Just if you need to review the videos, review the basic training video or your transcripts. I'm not reteaching it. Use that to find the 3 recent triggers, and from there you get the SUD, get the negative cognition, then just ask what's an earlier time, what's an earlier time, what's an earlier time. Just want to say one thing about the when we get to the longing, really it's relational longing. It's you, if you hear something like, I want to be away from everyone and so I can feel peace. It's one thing to feel safe when you are separated from all other beings. It's another to feel safe and peace in relation with others. So we're always, that's why, because of the nature of human being, that's why the relational longing in the context with other people. I just want to feel I'm enough. Okay, I want to be seen and fully accepted. Who I am is enough. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then from there, we're looking for, you had a glimmer of hope this longing would be fulfilled. Then it didn't. It didn't work out. It's always when the longing didn't work out, then our answer kicked in to help and get reinforced again. So that's why this worksheet, finding the root underneath the answer. Listen for the answer, and we are actually digging underneath the answer to those most vulnerable experiences that prompted us to eventually develop our answer and becoming really good at our answers. So with this practice, depends on the time. If you finish it, you have plenty of time to go into processing phase 3 to 7 for the touchstone memory, go for it. If you don't, it's 15 minutes left or less, you wrap it up with a resource. And that future desired states here is the perfect one. You are starting, okay, we have these list memories, we can use the EMDR to target them. But imagine if we worked through all these past memories, then you can be and respond and react differently. What would that future be? So that's a natural kind of resource to come back to regulation, future, and hope. But if with certain clients you want to use a different resource to change state, that's fine too. So you really depends on how the session flows. You have 2 different ending. Okay. Any questions? I know SiYeung needs to go. We should be on time. All right. Feel free to email if you have any more questions. See you next month.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.